Again. Well, good morning again to you all. So, like promised on my last video that I uploaded now or a little while ago, I did I say that I will also upload another video today. And this video is or the series that I am talking. It's um, more than one series actually, but nonetheless, this is my 10 of my top 20 greatest anime series of all times, in my opinion. And this series um, is based on a Japanese manga written and illustrated by Kota Hirano, and that first premiered in Young King Yours in 1997 and ended in September of 28. Um, since March of 29, all the chapters have been released and the manga actually has already ended. There are a second manga that currently is on hiatus, but well, if you did not get by now about what series I'm talking about Hellsing, or Eru Shingo in Japanese. And basically, this is a series that follows um, a group of knights or of soldiers that belong to the Holy Order of Protestant Knights, Helsing, uh, that was founded by Abraham van Helsing, and the mission of this order is to search and destroy all that threaten the queen and the country, from the undead to supernatural forces of evil. And the current leader of this organization is a character called Sir Integer Fairbrother Wingates Helsing, that became the leader of the organization after the passing of his own father. And actually, his uncle tried to murder her, but then she kind of released the vampire that was um, in prison in the basement of the headquarters of the order, and this vampire is called Alucard, and is the most powerful vampire that existed, and that swore loyalty to this organization after being defeated by Van Helsing 100 years ago. Uh, then we have the addition of a young police officer called Ceres Victoria that Alucard makes a vampire, and we also have the butler that is also an interesting character, and we have one of my favorite characters of this series is a guy called Pip Bernardot that is a mercenary, and eventually he comes to the story because the Helsing organization headquarters suffers a great attack and they lose a lot of soldiers and they were forced to resource to mercenaries. And this guy was a very interesting character. Is him and his fellow mercenaries. I was very sad uh, by the way they ended up, because it was very interesting the connection that these guys established with Ceres Victoria and vice versa. It was a very interesting situation. Also, it's very interesting the connection or the link between Integra and Alucard. And well, based on on the manga, they did make an anime television series called Hellsing that was directed by Umanosuke Ida and was produced by Studio Gonzo and Digimation and aired between 10th of October of 21 to 6th of January of 22, counting 13 episodes. But this first season I was quite bluntly infuriated by the way they did it, because I also at that time I was reading the manga and they diverge in very important aspects from the manga, and that usually is a thing that infuriates me a lot. But then they kind of redeemed themselves when they began producing the OVA, the 10 OVA called Hellsing Ultimate. That took a lot of time. The first release was in 10 of February of 26, and finally the last release was on 26th of December of 2012, a couple of months ago. So that was, for me it was worthwhile the waiting, because I do like the OVA a lot more than the anime series they did back in the beginning of the 20s years, because this OVA those actually follows more closely the manga, and that was for me very good. And well, we have several companies that work in this OVA. The first company I think that worked on this was Satellite, that produced OVA 1 to 4. Then Madhouse produced the OVA from 5 to 7, and Graphinica produced the OVA from 8 to 10, and also Genion, obviously. And these series, like I say, those follow the adventures of the Hellsing organization fighting against vampires initially. Then they kinda behind all the scenes was a Nazi related organization called Millennium, that was led by a major from the, I think it's the SS, that survived the Second World War, and that was defeated in the past by Alucard and the butler of Integra Helsing, when he was a younger. And the final overs are the battle of the survivors of the Third Reich, or more exactly the battle of the Major against Alucard, basically because the guy wanted to die, but he wanted to go in a very great way. And we also have the appearance of the Vatican section 13, and they have a character that I was at the end when the character did die, also in the manga and in the OVA, even if in the manga his death was very even more great and more meaning. It's a guy called Alexander Anderson, and he is a priest, an exorcist, and it's a very interesting character that you do not like right after you see him, but when he's dying, you kinda relate with the guy and and finally understand his motivations, and this is very, for me it was very interesting. And this series is a very black series with a lot of gore, a lot of blood and such. It's related with supernatural powers, demons, vampires, uh, and so long and so forth. Even a werewolf does make an appearance. So this was a very good dark series full of action, with a lot of blood and gore, like I say, very graphic. Even the ovas do portray that, but in the manga it's even better portrayed. So, but nonetheless, they did a fantastic job in the ovas called Hellsing Ultimate, and I was quite pleased by the way they did it, and I think they did make justice to this manga that for me was one of the most spectacular mangas that I read so far. And at the end of the series, you have Alucard apparently dying, but then he return at the end of over 10. But it's very interesting. Like I say, the character that I did not like the way he did go was Pip Bernardot, because Pip Bernardot honestly was one of my favorite characters of all this series. So well, and that's it. So this series, Helsing, the Helsing series, ranks 10 on my top 20 greatest anime series of all time. So hope you enjoy this video. Thanks for watching. Stay well, peace, and probably tomorrow or on Sunday I will release another one or two videos depending, um, and will continue my top 20 greatest anime series of all times. Also, if you are watching this and did watch my other videos, you do see that I start this list with my top 2. I never make a video for my top 1. My top 1 will be probably one of the last videos that I will make about this segment. So if you are watching this, I hope you looking keep looking forward to it. So that's it. Stay well. Peace. See you soon.